you want to see something funny? This is the 13th of April. Great, huh?
Hello everyone and welcome to the 55th episode of NiinaN Knitting. My name is Niina and I live in Jyväskylä in central Finland with my husband, our 2 kids and a dog. At the moment I'm not at home, I'm in the countryside where we've fled the coronavirus. It's just under an hour's drive from home, so we're actually not that far away. Today is Friday, the 24th of April, and it's a very nice sunny day. Kind of warm too, but it's really windy, and the wind is cold. So I am wearing my hat that I made last summer, somewhere, maybe last fall, anyway, of last year, and it's not too much to wear. I don't have any show outline today, but I will write some show notes for you. You'll find them in the description box down below. There'll be a link to my Ravelry group to the episode thread. So if you feel like giving me a comment, you can either write them here under the video on YouTube or click the episode thread and leave some on Ravelry. And don't have any finished objects for you today. I actually have made one finished thing. Yesterday I sewed my daughter a pair of pants, sweatpants, but of course they're already in the laundry, so I'll show them to you on another episode, maybe after I get them from the washer. I'll take a separate video clip and insert it next time, or like I said, in a future episode. But as for knitting, I have not finished anything. So I think I will call this a no faux show, FO meaning finished object, and I have none. I do have a couple of HOs though, HOs, like half finished objects. So I could call them 2 HOs and a few whips or something, but maybe I'll just stick with the no faux show. Yeah, let's start with the ones that you have already seen. The first of them is, I'm just gonna have to, since I have no notes, the pattern for this first work in progress whip. Let's see. Yes, here it is. So this is all tangled up, but it is a pair of socks. As you can see, I'm knitting them 2 at a time on magic loop using my Chaugu red lace needles, 2.5 millimeters. I really like them because they're so nice and sharp and pointy, and they're metal, so they won't break even though I do have a tendency to tighten my stitches quite a bit. Where I started last time, or where I was last time, I have a progress keeper in here. So this is how much I'd done last time, and now I'm past the heel, so French heel turn with this really, okay, forgot. Now I was supposed to tell you the name of the sock. So this sock pattern is called Liesel. It's by Sharon Gerstmann or something, and I am using Fru Valborg yarn, merino swirl, which is 80% super merino, 20% nylon, and the colorway is called Hepburn. So this is what I'm using, and so yeah, as I was saying, it's a really nice, it's got a lot of 1x1 cables, no rest rows whatsoever. You're always doing some sort of a twist, 1x1 cable, or just twisted knit stitches. And yeah, it's interesting to knit. Even in the heel flap, you have this, you start with this sort of a net or a grid or something until you get to the just plain twisted ribbing, and then do a French heel turn and pick up the stitches. And I'm not far from being ready to start the toe. These are for my niece. She turned 15 a little earlier this month, so I'm making these for her, and I think they're really pretty. Since the yarn is hand dyed, this is from one end of the skein and this is from the other. I'm not sure if you can how well the colors show on camera, but in real life this is a lot lighter than this one. There are a lot of more speckles in here, and the undertone is darker than in this sock. But you know, they're still a pair, and I really like both of the colors. Just not sure whether the more or less direct sunlight screws up the colors, but yeah, they're really nice. Last time I said that I wasn't sure about the yarn, how it feels when you're knitting. As you can see, the stitch definition is absolutely amazing. The one thing that has me thinking is that it doesn't feel what's the word, stretchy, or it's not hard because it is soft, but just in this it just doesn't stretch at all. Maybe it's because of the way it was made, or I have no idea. But in a project like this where you have very small stitches and you're doing a lot of cables, then for me as a tight knitter, it's not the most pleasant kind of yarn to work, even though it is beautiful. The outcome is absolutely amazing, but the action of knitting is not as pleasurable. Is it pleasing? Whatever. Like, if you know, or if you've been here before, you know that English is not my first language, and every now and then you can really tell. Yeah, it's not a pleasure, as big a pleasure to knit this kind of yarn as the ones that are a little more sort of stretchy. But as you can see, the pair will be beautiful once I get it finished, and it's not far from being finished. And I do think that the way the yarn knits up is is really beautiful. But yeah, I guess the sunlight is sort of over exposing it. Yeah, this is what you've seen before, and next time I podcast, it will be an FO, even though it's not quite yet. Then the other WIP that I had last time has already seen a lot of progress, but it's not, well, it is far from being finished. It's my Munzo cardigan. Last time I messed up the name of the designer a little bit. It's Bergère Caillou, perhaps. You'll see it on the screen. Yeah, and I am using Pirkalank, this really old yarn that I got from somebody who wanted to get rid of her stash. I have it in 4 colors, as you can see. I had some of this light green. Yes, this is blue. It shows as blue, and it is blue, light blue. Then I have a full skein of this green, like really forest green. Then I have this medium blue, and I've made another stripe of the green, and I have started with the darkest blue in here. So last time I showed it to you, I was here. I had not separated the sleeves yet, but as you can see, I have now. I knit on the sleeves a little bit, and then I put them on some waste yarn so that I could start the body, because I really like it and I wanted to see how it looks. But this is a pattern that you start from the middle of the neck in the back. You do a okay, I used a slightly wrong term last time. Provisional, right? Provisional cast on, I think, is the right term. Yeah, so you cast on some stitches, a number of stitches, and you do a sort of a ribbing, although it's just not knit stitches. They're 1 by 1 cables, and then purls in between the knit stitches, and then you have an I-cord edge, and then you knit a certain number, or you work a certain number of rows, and then you put it on hold. You pick up your stitches from the cast on, and then you knit a certain number of rows to the other direction, and then you start doing in a rectangle, doing the border or the collar, and then you pick up some stitches from this edge, and then you did the other side of the collar, and then started doing the raglan increases. And yeah, as you can see, I am a little bit under the armpits here. I'm not sure which part I'll do first. I did weigh the yarn, the blue yarn that I have, and I am sort of thinking that I will knit as many rows in the sleeves as I do in the body of the blue, and when I run out of the blue, and then I'll just finish the cardigan with the green. But so maybe I'll start working on the sleeves next. We'll see. But yeah, this is where my cardigan is. I'm not, I'll finish it when I have time, but I really like it. It's really nice, and I really like this color that it has. Very nice. I'm eager to see how it looks when I finish it. I'm using my Knit Picks interchangeable needles. These are 4 millimeters, so that's US size 6. And that's my second WIP. Okay, then I'll show you my hose, my half-finished objects. Checking where the dog is. The first half-finished object I have is a sock, oh duh, that I was knitting for the Sock Madness qualifying round, and I am blanking on the name. I'll put it on the screen, but this is my sock, and doesn't it look great? It's amazing. The main color I use here is Regia Perfect. So that's the main color. And then the white is just Novita. Let's see, Novita, Venla, off-white. And I really like how they work together. It's really fun. So the idea with the Perfect sock or yarn is that you start, there is a, as you can see, there's some yellow yarn here, and you wind it off, and then you start cast on with this first color, which is sort of a light brown, and then you just work your sock down. There's a darker brown, and then it switches into different colors, and this particular pattern just happened to have the right length of leg, because I did have some of the stripe colors here in the heel flap. As you can see, it's sort of, it's ribbing, 2x2 ribbing, but it's in an entrelac. No, it's not entrelac. It's just that you switch the places of the purl stitches and the knit stitches every so often. But yeah, so at the point where I had done the heel turn, the French heel turn, that's where you started, or where this let's say toe color or foot color started. So it was really right at the very best spot. And of course the sole is stripy, and you have these net things on the top of the foot. And this stitch is actually different from here in the leg. There are two different kinds of stitches. You can see it from the wrong side of the foot. So here you can see there are just sort of stripes, because you pick up some stitches from way back up. But in the foot, you actually dropped some stitches, and well, it was done differently. But yeah, this is it's a fun sock. Very well, it hasn't been blocked, as you can see, and I don't know what blocking will do to it, but at the moment it's right, fits my foot just right. We'll see. But yeah, I haven't started the second one. I will when I have time, but just wanted to finish one sock so that I would be a cheerleader in Sock Madness sock knitting competition. And then I have another, oh well, there's one or two yarns that I haven't woven in, but this is a pair of socks that I'm making for a friend of mine. She asked me if I could knit her 2 pairs of socks. This is from the first pair. She sent me some yarn. She chose the colors herself, and it's Novita Seitsemän veljestä, which is like the very, very basic sock yarn here in Finland. Where's the tag? I don't have a pattern for this sock, but the yarn is Novita Seitsemän veljestä. The colorway is number 742, if somebody wants to know. She has a dog. Onni, I think, is his name. He's a bichon frisé, so one of those small white fluffy things. So I'm making her bichon frisé socks, and the picture is kind of big for this sock, but it's fine. And no, it's maybe not very well made or anything, but it's cute. So I'm sure she'll be happy to have a pair of socks with these dogs. So I just cast on a number of stitches. I made maybe 10 or 20 rows, something, of ribbing, and then I started doing the stockinette part, and then the picture I just found online when I googled bichon frisé knitting chart, I think. Yeah, and I made here's the yarn that I haven't woven in. I made an Io Partridge heel flap, a French heel turn for a change, and yeah, I finished it yesterday. Finished the sock yesterday. And I knit these with my 4.0 millimeter Knit Prosings DPNs, which I am actually currently using in another sock, and that's my last one, I promise. This is actually the same sort of yarn, but just a different colorway. Novita Seitsemän veljestä. And this is like a very basic 75% wool, 25% polyamide or nylon polyamide. And this color, this orange, is number 278. It's not bright orange, but it's really nice orange. I'm making a pair of socks for my mom, and there's this Finnish designer called NiinaN. I've knit a few of her socks before, and for a number of years now she has designed a sock for Mother's Day, which is the first Sunday in May, I think, in Finland. So it's coming. And she has designed a sock pattern, actually 2. There was one for knee-high socks, and today was the day when the short version started. She releases some of the chart each morning, and this is the first day chart of the short version of the socks. So it has this lace motif in the front and just some ribbing in the back. And these are my 4.0 millimeter Knit Prosings DPN that I'm using for this. You are supposed to, or it would be best to knit the socks two at a time or in tandem. But I only have one set of 4.0 millimeter needles because my bamboo 4.0s have not lasted in my hands. But I am thinking about maybe taking the tips off the Manzo cardigan. I have a cable that I was using for the sleeves, and maybe I might use that set to knit the Mother's Day socks two at a time until I finish them and then continue the Manzo. I don't know. I haven't decided yet, but I did finish today's chart of the äitien päiväsukat 2020, so Mother's Day socks 220. I might make the second one if well, we'll see. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty. And I think those are my whips at the moment. I have a lot. These are my more or less active. Okay, the Sock Madness Hoe sock, the one sock I had actually knit last time, but I just didn't have it here with me because I forgot it at home. And I think I had started the Bichon Frisé sock, then I just hadn't, finished it last time, but I didn't have it in here. But so they're not actually new whips. They're just something that I didn't have with me last time I recorded. So I do have quite a few whips. Next time I hope I will have finished some of them. And as for some chit chat, I don't know if you know what the situation in Finland is as for the COVID-19. We're not confined. We're just, Finnish government has strongly suggested that everybody stay at home, keep their distance, wash their hands, don't touch your face, and all that. The schools and restaurants are closed, have been closed, and we're doing distance teaching. I actually had my course exams this week, so I'm checking the exams and then grading. That's what I'm doing at the moment. My son still has school until, well, distance school, until the end of May. That's when the schools stop or end. The school year ends at the sort of end of May, beginning of July, June, beginning of June in Finland. There has been some talk about maybe reopening schools for certain students somewhere around 13th or after the 13th of May, but we don't know. Nothing's been decided yet. They're just thinking about how to start getting back to well, not normal, but out of this very isolated situation, let's say. But yeah, So we're here. We don't go anywhere. We go to the grocery store maybe once a week or so. My husband does it most of the time. This year we actually did go home uh, because the internet connection is better there, and I was able to supervise my exam, and my son had a national maths test. So that's why we were there. And other than that, we're just um, letting the days go by. It's nice and sunny now, but the weather forecast for this weekend was that it's going to be colder, more cloudy. Um, so the summer's not here yet. We're just it's spring in Finland right now, but I'm enjoying sunlight, sunshine whenever I can. And I hope that you can find some joy in your days, wherever you are and whatever you're doing. I'll talk to you again later, maybe in a couple of weeks. Until then, I hope you stay safe and have a nice time. Bye.